James Earl Cash, found guilty and sentenced to death, has been on death row for the past 3 years and was executed last night.
James Earl Cash was freed from death row and in return must participate in a snuff film directed by Lionel Starkweather.
Hey, tough guy, wake up. You're not dead. Well, not yet, anyway.
It would appear that Starkweather chose his candidate well, as Cash displays no outward emotion or regret while butchering his pursuers, and is no stranger to violence. Cash is shown to be very capable of making sure his enemies are dead, and his executions are nothing short of brutal. Cash remains rather emotionless and completely fearless throughout most of the storyline. However, he does display some sympathy for his kidnapped family members during one scene, and is furious when he sees them killed.
Where were your family when you were facing your final moments in the chamber anyway? You've left your old life, your old self. I'm all the family you need now.
Cash is an extraordinarily dangerous individual, capable of inflicting fatal injuries using the most simple objects, such as a plastic bag. Sometime before 1992, Cash was wanted by the San Andreas Police Department, which is likely what caused him to abandon his family. It's indicated that he was part of an organized crime ring, assumed to be either an enforcer or a hitman, due to the fact that only murder would give him the death penalty. Indeed, Cash was already a proficient and highly experienced killer before the events of the game. During his career as a criminal, Cash has been evading the law for a decade, until the year 2000, when he was finally caught in Carcer City and locked away at the Darkwoods Penitentiary. It is here where Cash is sentenced to death, with its execution being 3 years later. The day of his execution, Cash is given a lethal injection, and everyone believes him to be dead. However, he wakes up inside the closed-down coffee and donut store in Carcer Mark, to find he was only sedated due to the work of Lionel Starkweather, who had bribed the prison officials.
Hey, tough guy, wake up. You're not dead. Well, not yet, anyway. You're getting a second chance. Another throw of the dice. As far as the world is concerned, you died back in the chamber. Justice was served. James Earl Cash is rotting in hell. Hey, get a grip and calm down. You're probably suffering from shock, and I'm here to help. Pick up the ears. Put it on. Go on.
That's better. Now only you can hear me. And that's the way you're gonna want it, because I'm your only way out of here. Hey, easy. Look, you've had an unexpected reprieve. Do exactly as I say, and I promise this will be over before the night is out.
Cash is then forced to participate in one of the director's snuff films in exchange for his freedom. Cash has no trouble in killing a gang called the Hoods as he plows through their turf, brutally killing them off until he is led to believe that he has finished his work. However, he is then ambushed by the Cerberus, who are on Starkweather's payroll, and transported to another location.
Get ready, boys. He's coming.
He is then dropped off by Cerberus at Denton's junkyard, where he must kill a gang of white supremacists called the Skinz.
Okay, so I lied. We haven't quite wrapped this gig up. But hey, you're having fun, right? There's a double gate that leads on through to our next location. Find it.
Cash kills them all as he makes his way through the location, using a crane to clear the path ahead, and reaches the exit. He is once again subdued and picked up by Cerberus, before being driven off to the next location. Next, Cash faces off against a gang of war veterans known as the Wardogs at the Carcer City Zoo until he learns they have his family hostage. He manages to save at least one member, depending on the player, and kills all the remaining Wardogs.
Hold up, Cash. You and your family weren't exactly close, am I right? It's just that I thought it would be nice to have a surprise reunion. But these Wardogs didn't see it my way, and they've taken matters into their own hands. They're using them as bait, Cash. Bait! I know! I can hardly believe it myself. Each time they spot you, these Wardogs are going to execute one of your beloved family.
Now Cash arrives at the mall. The director has arranged a special screening for him. He must find a tape and a video camera in the Carcer City Mall while fighting off a gang called the Innocentz.
So, how are we doing, Cash? Enjoying it so far? I thought you could do with a little R&R, so I've arranged a special screening. Just for you. It's work in progress, but I think you'll appreciate it. I've hidden a tape and a video camera in the mall. Find them.
Once all of the gang members are dead, Cash watches the tape, which turns out to be footage of his remaining family members being murdered by an Innocentz with a machete.
Where were your family when you were facing your final moments in the chamber anyway? You've left your old life, your old self. I'm all the family you need now. You look lonely, so I got you some company.
Cash then found himself on the mean streets of East Los Albos and was teamed up with the drunken hobo.
Well, what do you think of your new friend? You look good together, Cash. Really, you do. I'll only open any gates if he's with you, alive and well. Now, get going. Entertain me.
Starkweather instructs him to escort the Tramp to a cemetery, while slaughtering more Innocentz along the way. He is then forced to clear out the remaining Innocentz at the Carcer Chem factory, and after succeeding, tries to make a run for it, but is caught once again by Cerberus.
What the fuck? Get to bed. Now. You heard the man.
Cash is then dragged back into the Darkwoods Penitentiary to face his former fellow inmates, who have taken over the asylum and called themselves the Smileys.
Right here. Drop him.
Cash makes his way through the asylum, killing all of them, until coming across the White Rabbit, who he is instructed to follow.
You're my big, ugly Alice, so go on. Follow the White Rabbit.
The rabbit leads Cash into many traps where he's attacked by the Smileys, until he enters a room full of them, all heavily armed.
You made it! Oh dear, you see, you didn't make it after all!
What can I say? You are a good leading man. The audience will love you. Don't expect any royalty checks where you're going.
This is the point where Starkweather plans to have him killed. However, through sheer skill or bloodlust, Cash manages to stay alive and slaughters the remaining Smileys. Some of the Cerberus even assigned to finish him off if the Smileys failed. And finally, even the White Rabbit, who led him into the ambush.
This wasn't the deal!
After this, Cash finally manages to escape from Cerberus and escapes the prison. Now Cash is on the run from Starkweather, who sends Ramirez out to capture him, which he does.
You think you're tough? Think you're tough? I'll rip your fucking head off! Don't you wanna play anymore? You like hide and seek?
You like hide and fucking seek? Well, we're coming for you, asshole.
What's the matter, little boy?
Ready or not.
It's our turn now. Run! Run!
Cash is placed in a fenced-out yard outside the Wardogs' apartment for the Wardogs to hunt him down. Cash kills him and enters the apartment building, killing all the Wardogs and Ramirez in the process. After killing Ramirez, Cash escapes the location by running through the door. While running away from the remaining Wardogs, Cash is picked up by the journalist, and he helps her by escorting the woman to her apartment in Central to gather evidence to bring down Starkweather.
Get in, you idiot! Get in!
Pull over! Pull over! Who are you?
I've seen your face before.
Get off of me! I'm a reporter! I was at your execution!
Keep talking.
I've been following Starkweather's operation for months.
Who's Starkweather?
The guy that's been talking you through this whole circus of death? Look, I've got all I need to expose that sick bastard, but he's definitely on to me now. So I have to get back to my apartment, collect my material, and get out of town before I become another one of Starkweather's extras.
You can bring him down? This Starkweather?
Absolutely. This is gonna make my career.
Okay, let's go.
Huh?
To your apartment. Drive!
Along the way, he kills multiple CCPD officers who have filled the area following orders from corrupt police chief Gary Schaffer to kill them both. He himself given his orders from the director.
We've lost.
What? Are you fucking...
Oh, shut up and get some of your boys to take care of it. Don't file the arrest report. Don't kill him either. Send both to me.
Hey, remember who you're talking to, you son.
Listen, you fuck. It's your job to clean up this city's mess. That's what you get paid for.
Shit.
Okay, pull over here.
But it's another block or two to my apartment.
Just shut up and stick with me if you want to stay alive.
After collecting all the evidence the journalist needed, Cash instructs the journalist to get out of town.
Everything I need is in that box under the table.
Good. Take it and get out of town.
But you're not coming with me?
I'm going to deal with Starkweather personally. Thank him for my second chance. You're my backup if I don't make it. Have a nice life.
He decides to head to Starkweather's estate via the subway, making it all the way to the Stockyard train yard, where he is cornered by a SWAT team. However, a squad of Cerberus kill the SWAT and capture Cash for themselves.
Put your fucking hands up! Shoot that cop killer son of a bitch!
Cash is then locked up in a garage at Starkweather's palace, but manages to break free and kills the Cerberus, including the Cerberus Leader, and makes his way up to Starkweather's office.
Piggsy! What was that? Go check it out. Maybe it is your day. Shit! What the fuck is that? Support! Repeat! Ascendant! Oh shit!
While Cash is heading to Starkweather's office, he is ambushed by Piggsy and must kill him. After killing Piggsy, Starkweather sends the last few members of Cerberus to take down Cash, but they are all swiftly killed. Once they are all dead, Cash successfully breaks into Starkweather's office. Shocked, Starkweather falls to the ground and quickly arms himself with a revolver, attempting to defend himself. But finally, Cash manages to kill him by slicing his stomach, exposing his guts, all the while begging for mercy. He then drives a chainsaw into his face, killing him.
Cash, I made you!
After this, the police soon show up on Starkweather's estate. They also discover the corpses of the Cerberus, Starkweather, and everyone else involved in the snuff film ring. But by this time, Cash has already made his run and he's nowhere to be found, beating Starkweather at his own game. After the events of Manhunt, Cash went into hiding, as he was supposed to be executed. When the journalist tells the psychiatrist that Cash is still alive, the psychiatrist reveals that no one has seen him since his execution, 2 weeks before the journalist was committed to a psychiatric hospital.
Then I spoke to him. To Cash.
Did you? But no one else saw Cash or spoke to him.
So I'm a liar now. I'm a liar?
His whereabouts and current activity are completely unknown.
Hold up, Cash. You and your family weren't exactly close, am I right?
Cash's family are 4 unnamed characters that appear in Manhunt, held hostage in the missions Trap for Cash and View of Innocence. Their background was never officially stated, but some comments from Starkweather imply they may not want anything to do with Cash due to his conviction. They weren't present when Cash was facing his final moments in the Darkwoods Penitentiary, and it is also unknown how exactly they were kidnapped. Some unknown time between Cash's execution and prior to his arrival in Carcer City Zoo, 4 of his family members have been kidnapped by Starkweather's personnel, likely the Cerberus, and taken to the zoo. They have been gagged and tied to posts by the Wardogs in order to bait Cash.
Hold up, Cash. You and your family weren't exactly close, am I right? It's just that I thought it would be nice to have a surprise reunion. But these Wardogs didn't see it my way, and they've taken matters into their own hands. They're using them as bait, Cash. Bait! I know! I can hardly believe it myself. Each time they spot you, these Wardogs are going to execute one of your beloved family.
When Cash arrives at the inner area of the zoo, he's warned by the director about his family, and that the Wardogs will execute them if they spot him. Cash is ordered to free at least one of his family members as part of the snuff film. When Cash frees any of them, he instructs them to run away and leave the zoo to find safety.
Get out of here! Run!
Although you can rescue all 4, it is possible to do exactly as Starkweather instructs, saving just one. And if all members die, the snuff film ends.
Okay, we need to bump up the murder rate here. Plow on.
Go on, run, you idiot! Okay, you're okay. Go!
Guess what you have to do to open the shark's mouth? Go rescue your family.
Don't stop until you're out of here.
You rescued them all. I knew I'd bring the hero out in you.
Prior to the events of View of Innocence, at least one of Cash's relatives are freed by him and are immediately recaptured and taken to Carcer City Mall. Afterwards, he or she is murdered by an Innocentz member inside of a store in order to record a tape for Cash to locate within the mall as part of the snuff film.
So, how are we doing, Cash? Enjoying it so far? I thought you could do with a little R&R, so I've arranged a special screening just for you. It's work in progress, but I think you'll appreciate it. I've hidden a tape and a video camera in the mall. Find them.
When Cash arrives at the mall, Starkweather instructs him to look for the tape, as well as a broken video camera, and find a way to watch it.
Now all you need is the camera.
Do it!
That's the camera with the broken screen. I told those guys. No problem. There's a TV in a bar somewhere around here. Does nothing fucking work around here? You're gonna have to see if you can turn on the power in the basement. Beautifully done, Cash. Now just toddle back up to the bar and enjoy the show. You must understand, Cash. I could never let them go. Where were your family when you were facing your final moments in the chamber anyway? You've left your old life, your old self behind. I'm all the family you need now.
After watching the first moments of the tape, Cash becomes enraged by his family member being killed, picks up the television, and destroys it. Even if Cash managed to free all 4 of his family members, the other 3 are never seen or heard from again. However, it is very likely that all of them were killed.
Just take your time, Cash. I see a few hoods around these vans. Sorry, I should explain. Each gang has their, let's just call it, their thing. These guys call themselves the Hoods, but none of that should bother you. As far as you're concerned, they're meat. Okay, on you go.
The Hoods consist of a loose-knit group of common street thugs and hitmen for hire, and are the first gang James Earl Cash encounters. They are unruly and disorganized, purely in the hunt for the financial gain. The Hoods tend to wear dark, nondescript street clothes, along with a variety of masks and hoods. Though at times they are unarmed, most Hoods are equipped with blackjacks, crowbars, and wooden baseball bats, but lack any firearms compared to the later gangs such as Innocentz, Wardogs, or Smileys. The Hoods are rather basic, with no distinct quirks, and despite being the least organized gang in the game, they are just as aggressive as any other hunters. Although the Hoods are working for Lionel Starkweather, many members of the gang appear to be unaware of the danger they are in, being dismissive of Cash, calling him a dog, a junkie, a moron, freak, and chatting noisily about women or cars. They are impatient and easily distracted, tending to patrol their turf alone. The Hoods also tend to be quite cowardly, as seen in Time to Die, and when they're being knocked down by the player, they beg for Cash not to kill them. As stated previously, the Hoods are the first group of hunters Cash faces off against. After Cash is sprung out of an abandoned shop by Starkweather, he makes his way through a desolate street in Carcer Mark, under strict supervision of the director.
These streets are being patrolled by gangs. They're scum, just like you. And they're here to hunt you down and cut you up. I'll try to direct you as best I can, but other than that, you're on your own. It's up to you. Okay, are you ready? Camera, action.
What is this bull?
Butcher him.
He picks off several Hood members, breaks into Carcer Mark Mall, and takes care of the remaining Hoods in the level.
Pile in, boys! I got him! No.
That's my boy. Get your teeth into them. Okay, there are some more hanging around the exit. Give me some grade A, honest-to-God gore, and you'll be buzzed through the door.
After that, Cash escapes and makes his way through the back alley streets of the Hood's turf, while continuing to kill any and all he comes across.
You're doing fine, Cash, just fine. We're getting some great material here. Keep going. Break 'em.
Come out, wherever you are.
Way to go. You're getting the hang of this.
Eventually, he would break into a basement and kill the crowbar-wielding Hood in a padded room to finish the scene.
Okay, this is what I like to call a setup. This guy will fight dirty, but once you're through with him, I'll open the next door.
Just keep hitting the bastard!
At this rate, you're gonna massacre the whole gang! I love it!
Cash then makes his way to Carcer City Library, and after breaking into the library's cellar and killing several hoods, he is picked up by the Cerberus and extracted from the turf.
Beautiful. You're warming up our audience nicely.
You think you...
You're doing great, kid. Grade A stuff. Now, find your way to the cellar door.
The hoods don't make any more appearances after this, as they have now been all wiped out. However, the hoods have starring roles in 3 of the 4 bonus scenes.
Okay, let's give Mr. Starkweather a show to remember. Move it!
The Skinz are a group of hunters comprised of supremacists and are the second gang James Earl Cash encounters after the hoods.
These skins are boring me. Dumb Supremas always blaming others for their inadequacies. Butcher them, Cash. Cut them up. Beat them down and choke the life out of them.
They patrol their junkyard turf aggressively in small packs and brutally attack trespassers.
Don't mourn this idiot! He let a mongrel get the better of him! Afraid to show yourself? I don't blame you!
The gang members wear traditional supremacist attire, including black t-shirts, camouflage pants, army boots, shaved heads. Many Skinz also wear hockey masks to intimidate their foes. Some of their masks are painted to resemble the Confederate flag. They also wear clothing and armbands that are covered with mock World War II era symbols.
Careful. There's a bigot guarding the gate. If he sees you, you'll call his cheery buddies.
Skinz members can be heard swearing allegiance to the Aryan Brotherhood, spouting off extremist and fundamentalist views, and expressing hatred towards others. Several of the Skinz talk to themselves about wanting to make their dead fathers proud of them, a dream of theirs that will never come true.
Please tell me!
The Skinz believe that Cash is mixed race and hunt him aggressively for it, although this may have been a lie told to them by Ramirez or Starkweather to give the racists more motivation to attack Cash.
You gonna hide all night, half-breed? Well, are ya?
Oh, yeah. Oh, das ist gut, ja.
This shit seems content to watch porn and avoid all the action. If he won't switch it off himself, we'll have to do it for him.
Oh, that's just freaking great! The fuse is fried again! It's a sign of the weaker race, an instinct to hide.
The vast majority of Skin members are armed with metal baseball bats, though some carry nail guns and knives. Compared to the hoods whom Cash faced previously, the Skinz are better equipped and are more willing to work together. However, although ruthless, this gang is still less organized than the Innocentz, Wardogs, or Smileys, and are rather cowardly, especially when they're getting beaten or when they're knocked down, often begging Cash not to kill them.
These call themselves the Wardogs, real gung-ho losers. You're gonna have to tool up if you're gonna make it. Take it slow and see what you can take from these guys.
The Wardogs first appear after Cash leaves the junkyard and is apprehended by the Cerberus operatives, who drop him off at the Carcer City Zoo, where he encounters several Wardogs lazily patrolling the ticket booths.
listen up. Eddie, it's time to get out there and nail that. Wardogs? Yeah!
Cash makes his way deeper and deeper into the abandoned zoo, fighting off increasingly large numbers of wardogs. After clearing the area, Cash finds out by Starkweather that the Wardogs have taken 4 members of his family hostage, and he sets out to free them.
Hold up, Cash. You and your family weren't exactly close, am I right? It's just that I thought it would be nice to have a surprise reunion. But these Wardogs didn't see it my way, and they've taken matters into their own hands. They're using them as bait, Cash. Bait! I know! I can hardly believe it myself. Each time they spot you, these Wardogs are going to execute one of your beloved family.
Things go according to plan, and he frees them one by one while killing every Wardog in his way.
Get out of here! Run! Go on, run, you idiot! Okay, you're okay. Go!
After liberating all of his family members, he shoots his way through a final wave of Wardogs, being picked up by Cerberus yet again.
You just won't die, will you?
The Wardogs have their final appearance right after Cash escapes from Darkwoods Penitentiary and finds himself deep inside Wardog territory in the Darkwoods district, where he also faces their leader, Ramirez.
Okay, you limp. Let's give Mr. Starkweather a show to remember. Move it!
Ramirez is a character and secondary antagonist in Manhunt. He is a hulking, one-eyed Afro-Latino ex-soldier and the leader of the Wardogs.
Time to get out there and nail that. Wardogs? Yeah!
Ramirez can be seen giving orders to various gangsters with the game, including the white supremacist group the Skinz. He is also Lionel Starkweather's go-to guy.
Ramirez! You let Cash slip his leash. Bring him to heel. Failure isn't an option. Now go.
He is no stranger to have a starring role in Starkweather's productions after previous starring in his own movie, Let's Play Ramirez Says. He makes a number of appearances with the game, including White Trash, Grounds for Assault, View of Innocence, Kill the Rabbit, and Divided They Fall. And his weapons of choice are a sniper rifle and shotgun. Ramirez first appears in White Trash, ordering the Skinz to kill Cash.
I'm hearing
Okay, you limp. Let's give Mr. Starkweather a show to remember. Move it!
Ramirez then appears again in Grounds for Assault, ordering the Wardogs to kill Cash.
Fall in and listen up. Eddie, it's time to get out there and nail that. Wardogs? Yeah!
These call themselves the Wardogs. Real gung-ho losers.
Ramirez also appears in View of Innocence, ordering the Innocents around.
You, get out to the graveyard. You, I want you up there. And I want you to follow him over to the mall. Now move.
Cash first directly encounters Ramirez at the Wardogs' apartment in Divided They Fall. Ramirez has orders to make sure that Cash is killed, and by the end of the scene, only one will be left alive.
Where do you think you're going? Huh? Huh? You think you're tough? Think you're tough? I'll rip your head off! Don't you want to play anymore? You like hide and seek? You like hide and seek? Well, we're coming for you, so...
What's the matter, little boy?
Ready or not?
It's our turn now.
Run! Run! You don't find him soon, I'll shoot you myself.
Ramirez is later killed by Cash as he attempts to request reinforcements. He slaughters the rest of the Wardogs in an apartment complex that they had claimed. Although they seem to be wiped out, while Cash is running from the scene, guns can still be heard going off, implying Cash did not completely kill all of the Wardogs, unlike all of the other gangs.
Get in, you idiot! Get in!
The Innocentz are a wicked gang of hunters who appear in Manhunt and comprise a coalition of ragtag outcasts. Their ranks are numbered with Latino thugs, cultists, and the mentally disturbed. During the events of Manhunt, Ramirez is seen giving orders to the drunk and high Innocentz from inside the abandoned Carcer church.
You, get out to the graveyard. You, I want you up there. And I want you to follow him over to the mall.
After Ramirez dispatches the Innocentz throughout East Los Alpos, Cash raids the abandoned mall, claimed as Innocentz turf.
It is your...
You must understand, Cash. I could never let them go. Where were your family when you were facing your final moments in the chamber anyway? You've left your old life, your old self behind. I'm all the family you need now. I've got a little surprise for you. You looked lonely, so I got you some company. Unfortunately, the Innocentz thought better of it and locked them up. You're gonna have to bust them out.
After escaping from the mall, Cash is forced to escort a tramp through the streets and back alleys of East Los Alpos.
Well, what do you think of your new friend? You look good together, Cash. Really, you do. I'll only open any gates if he's with you, alive and well. Now, get going. Entertain me.
He's just toying with us, I swear. El cabrón is here someplace. I swear we'll see him. Do yourself a favor. Come out and get it over with!
We've only got so many chumps for you to chew up. Make each one count.
Just stay right where you are. All he wants to do is cower like a baby waiting for his mama. Man, this is spooky. I'm spooked, man. Definitely spooked.
Oh, man, you're playing these chumps like a maestro.
Move it.
Come on, you know Daddy would never hurt the apple of his eye. I'm trying to help you, darling, but Daddy needs to know where you are hiding.
Cash. Where's your hobo buddy? You know the deal, Cash. I open the door when I see your friend. Time for a little overtime. Make your way through the factory. The loading bay's your only way in.
After arriving at a chemical factory, Cash methodically wipes out the last remaining members of the Innocentz, and they were never seen again.
Just keep on adding to the body toll. Do your thing. You're really doing it for me. I ain't been this turned on since... Well, let's not go there. I don't think we made too many friends. Hell, I like you. These guys.
Joining all this.
That's my leading man. Attaboy. See you with some beers outside.
Oh, you're...
The lunatics have taken over the asylum, Cash. The only way to reason with these gibbering idiots is with a stick and a gun.
The Smileys are a mentally disturbed gang made up of former inmates of the Darkwoods Penitentiary. After James Earl Cash's execution was faked, they broke free and killed all the guards, taking over the entire asylum. They formed a gang called the Smileys, and were employed by Starkweather for use in his snuff films. Members of the Smileys are typically insane or mentally unstable, and kill Starkweather's runners for their own sick pleasure. They wield a variety of weapons such as meat cleavers, knives, and several firearms, including revolvers and shotguns. They all wear yellow smiley face masks, some covered in blood, and others with "kill" or "please stop me" scrawled messily across them. Smileys are also covered in tattoos, with some seen wearing ploses or garters. They're the last opponents Cash faces off against in the snuff film, before he decides to kill Starkweather. They seem capable of taking basic orders, as they can be seen guarding important locations and being sent to kill Cash on command. They are also some of the toughest adversaries Cash faces off against.
Fuck, gonna finish this!
Lionel Starkweather decided to make them the final hunters in his new movie starring James Earl Cash. After leaving the Carcer Chem factory, James Earl Cash runs into the Darkwoods Penitentiary to face his former fellow inmates, the Smileys.
The senator also visited the Darkwoods Penitentiary, which hosts more than 1,000 inmates from all over the country. The prison's modern facilities include spacious cells for the inmates. The exceptionally well-staffed hospital is equipped for emergencies, as well as routine health checks. Adjacent to row 1, the electric chair room, is where death sentences are carried out.
Right here. Drop him.
The lunatics have taken over the asylum, Cash. The only way to reason with these gibbering idiots is with a stick and a gun. I want you to kill the hunter patrolling the tower walkway and bring his body to the guard room.
Big surprise! That's what they said. Big surprise.
My guest of honors.
There's a hunter in the next room through the mesh door. Hack him up and I'll buzz open the next set of doors for you.
Cash kills all the Smileys in his path as he makes his way past the greenhouses, and blasts through a wall with the Smileys built to block his path.
Oh, you are!
He kills the Smiley guarding the tower and brings the body to the guard room as instructed.
For bringing his head, I'll leave a gift for you in the next location.
He then continues to kill more of the gang with a hammer and a metal bat, before shooting his way past them to the shower block.
Get your funky ass along the walkway and head into the shower block. Get out there! cut to the chase. Okay, Cash, you performed brilliantly. Don't worry, I've got plenty more Wonderland fun lined up for you. You're my big, ugly Alice, so go on, follow the White Rabbit.
The Smileys are then used to ambush Cash as the White Rabbit leads him into traps, but they are beaten back by Cash as he plows through them. In a last resort attack, the White Rabbit sends out the remaining Smileys to shoot down Cash, but naturally he managed to kill every last one of them.
You made it! Oh dear, you see, you didn't make it after all!
What can I say? You are a good leading man. The audience will love you. Don't expect any royalty checks where you're going.
The Smileys never appear again after Kill the Rabbit, except in an ending cutscene of the finale.
You're my big, ugly Alice, so go on, follow the White Rabbit.
The White Rabbit is a nickname given to a man who is dressed up in a bunny suit and who is a recurring star in Starkweather snuff films. The White Rabbit's specialty seems to be luring people into traps for them to be ambushed and killed. Going by his dialogue, the White Rabbit may not be insane. Lines such as,
"This wasn't the deal! This wasn't the deal!"
could mean that Starkweather intended the White Rabbit to be kept alive. The White Rabbit tends to act very cocky and taunts Cash frequently.
You made it! Oh dear, you see, you didn't make it after all!
However, he gets very scared when Cash goes after him.
You're supposed to be dead! Oh, fuck! He's after my freaking...
If Cash surprises him by aiming a gun at him, he will put his hands up and surrender. He does try to defend himself when he is carrying a gun.
This wasn't the deal!
In the events of Manhunt, as James Earl Cash nears the end of his time as a snuff film star, the White Rabbit shows up, and Cash is instructed to follow him. The Rabbit leads Cash into several traps where Cash gets ambushed by Smileys. He then continues to follow the Rabbit into a workshop room where Starkweather's plan to let Cash die.
What can I say? You are a good leading man. The audience will love you. Don't expect any royalty checks where you're going.
The Rabbit is shocked to see Cash still alive, thus the Rabbit runs away again, and Cash pursues him.
Oh, fuck! He's after my freaking...
Outside, 3 Cerberus guards are seen patrolling the guard tower, where the White Rabbit himself hides. Up there, the Rabbit has armed himself with a shotgun, and is accompanied by a Cerberus guard carrying a sniper rifle. Cash finally kills the White Rabbit, and takes the key he was holding to exit the prison. In the events of Manhunt 2, during Broadcast Interrupted inside the TVMK studio, an actor dressed up in the same suit as the White Rabbit can be seen hanging from a microphone cable in front of the Frankie and Freaks decor.
The monkeys are a rare but extremely dangerous group of hunters in Manhunt. They only appear in the bonus mission Monkey See, Monkey Die, with their weapons of choice being sawn-off shotguns, regular shotguns, and machetes. Operating in the Carcer Zoo, although the game says they're real monkeys, the monkeys are actually a gang of lunatics, believing themselves to be primates, or at the very least go through the effort of mimicking them, dressing in monkey costumes, and only communicating in monkey sounds. However, as unorthodox and insane as their behavior and actions may seem, the monkeys are actually quite intelligent and very well armed, with a large stockpile of weaponry that they intend to use on Cash. Their costumes are seemingly based around the Jolly Chimp toy, with on closer inspection their coats appearing to be repurposed marching band attire, finished off with 666 printed on the back of the coat. When compared with the Innocentz, it seems the monkeys are just using this number as gang insignia, and are not actual Satanists themselves. However, given that they are a violent gang that acts like wild animals, nothing can truly be certain. The monkeys themselves are very territorial and loyal to the gang, probably their only redeeming quality, though not for Cash. Although seemingly primal, the monkeys are resourceful and use cover or ambushes to try and kill Cash. The start of Monkey See, Monkey Die gives a description. The banana shortage has given the zoo monkeys an appetite for death. While it's obvious this message isn't meant to be taken literally, a Wardog is still seen being suddenly murdered from behind. This implies there's some sort of territorial or resource struggle between the two gangs. All of this would make the monkeys a terrifyingly animalistic, well-calculated force to be reckoned with, and are probably the only gang that are even a thorn in Starkweather's side, since their mental state renders them unable to follow orders or listen to reason, much like Piggsy. The Cerberus are a private army hired by Starkweather mainly to protect him and his estate. They also help in the production of his snuff films by setting up cameras, blocking off streets, and transporting inmates such as James Earl Cash from place to place. They later mercilessly hunt for Cash in Starkweather's estate once he survives the Darkwoods Penitentiary, where the snuff film was supposed to end. As befitting their presence late in the game outside of cutscenes, the Cerberus are professionally trained and efficient killers that rarely travel alone. These hunters appear to be from military or high-ranking police backgrounds, as they have great knowledge of military tactics, training, and their use of phrases. They can be heard communicating in code and discussing military tactics in their fight against Cash. Some Cerberus members are also former NSA agents, as explained in the instruction manual, and the experience that those individuals bring to the table is a testament to their overall high levels of professionalism and skill. The Cerberus first appear once Cash has killed off all of the hoods and made it past the Carcer City library, where they ambush him.
Get ready, boys. He's coming.
Cash is startled by this as they quickly beat him down and throw him in the back of their vehicle. They drop him off at Denton's junkyard to fight the Skinz, and after the Skinz gang have been defeated, the Cerberus captures Cash again and takes him to the Carcer City Zoo to battle the Wardogs. After Cash escapes the zoo, the Cerberus drop him off at the Carcer City Mall to collect a videotape and camera.
You just won't fucking die, will you?
And once Cash has killed the Innocentz at the Carcer City Chem Factory, he tries to run, but is captured once again.
What the fuck? Get to bed. Now. You heard the man.
He is then dragged back to Darkwoods Penitentiary to face the Smileys.
Right here. Drop him.
The lunatics have taken over the asylum, Cash.
Starkweather had intended for Cash to be slayed by the Smileys at the end of the Darkwoods Penitentiary in order to end the snuff film. However, Cash manages to kill them and heads for the exit, where the Cerberus are now guarding.
CCPD! Hold it right there!
Fucking A! We got him! Woohoo! Put your fucking hands up! Shoot that cop killer son of a bitch!
you? Maybe not. Kill the camera.
Piggsy!
What was that? Go check it out. Maybe it is your day. Shit! What the fuck is that? Support! Repeat! Ascendant! Oh shit!
Despite Starkweather's orders to keep Cash alive, they're preparing to execute him, but are interrupted by Piggsy. They investigate the disturbance and are subsequently killed by the deranged chainsaw-wielding man, allowing Cash to escape. They then patrol the mansion's outskirts and garden in search of both Piggsy and Cash.
Have you locked the elevator? Nobody gets anywhere near Starkweather. Give me the key. Yes, sir. I want you to go down to the basement and turn off the motor. We can't be safe with these two bastards running around. We're on it, sir.
Many Cerberus guards are killed by the two, and once Cash has reached the interior of the mansion, they shut down the power to the elevators to prevent him or Piggsy from reaching Starkweather. Cash would end up turning the power back on, killing more Cerberus and even the Cerberus Leader in order to obtain the key to the elevator. After battling it with Piggsy, Cash would reach the office, where the last remaining Cerberus units are protecting Starkweather. They would soon be killed by Cash, wiped out for good. The Cerberus Leader is a major character and antagonist in Manhunt, the head of Lionel Starkweather's personal security unit, the Cerberus.
Get ready, boys. He's coming.
The Cerberus Leader makes his first appearance in the ending cutscene of Road to Ruin. At various points in the game, he still makes his appearances, transporting Cash to several locations, as ordered by Starkweather. In the opening cutscene of Key Personnel, he's seen taking the elevator key from a Cerberus member.
Have you locked the elevator? Nobody gets anywhere near Starkweather. Give me the key. Yes, sir. I want you to go down to the basement and turn off the motor. We can't be safe with these two bastards running around. We're on it, sir.
In this mission, the Cerberus Leader is fought not only as a hunter, like his men, but as a boss, and therefore the player must kill him to complete the level. The Cerberus Leader, with many of his men, are all ultimately killed by Cash himself, while trying to hunt and kill Cash and Piggsy. Gary Schaffer became chief of police at the Carcer City Police Department at an unknown time prior to the events of Manhunt. While in that position, he started to take bribes from Starkweather, and in return gave him unlimited access to large sections of Carcer City in order to create his snuff films.
We've lost.
What? Are you fucking...
Oh, shut up and get some of your boys to take care of it. Don't file the arrest report. Don't kill him either. Send both to me.
Hey, remember who you're talking to, you son
Listen, you fuck. It's your job to clean up the city's mess. That's what you get paid for.
Shit.
2 years prior to the events of Manhunt, he was put on trial for corruption charges, but was found not guilty due to all the witnesses disappearing from the case. Though unconfirmed, it is not unlikely that he had a part to play in that.
There ain't any escaping Carcer City, asshole!
After Cash escapes from Starkweather's trap in the Darkwoods Penitentiary and kills Ramirez, along with his hit squad of Wardogs, Schaffer is contacted by Starkweather as a last resort, and is ordered by him to capture Cash and a journalist who had recently been investigating the director's activities. Schaffer dispatches multiple officers and SWAT teams to Central Carcer to apprehend Cash, and has the journalist's apartment raided in an attempt to seize evidence of Starkweather's crimes.
Okay, pull over here.
But it's another block or two to my apartment.
Just shut up and stick with me if you want to stay alive.
My place is upstairs. Here, I got the keys.
Cash escorts the journalist to her apartment, killing many officers along the way.
Everything I need is in that box under the table.
Good. Take it and get out of town.
But
You're not coming with me?
I'm going to deal with Starkweather personally. Thank him for my second chance. You're my backup if I don't make it. Have a nice life.
After securing the evidence, he sends her off and fights his way through the SWAT-infested Carcer City subway, and finally shakes the police off at the rail yard.
Sure, you'll never get out of that subway alive.
Roger, we're at the station.
This is Charlie Leader. Power has been shut off. Repeat, power is off.
Suspect is believed to be in the area. Approach with extreme caution. He is armed and is considered to be highly dangerous.
CCPD! Hold it right there!
Hey, we got him! Woohoo! Put your hands up! Shoot that cop killer son of a bitch!
After Starkweather is killed by Cash, the journalist mentions in a report that Schaffer's involvement with Starkweather's snuff film ring had been found out and he was arrested, although his lawyers have stated that he intended to plead not guilty.
Acclaimed movie maker Lionel Starkweather has been found dead today, along with several of his bodyguards, at his estate at the Wapona Hills residential district. In what investigators are calling a bloody vendetta, an unknown assailant infiltrated the compound, killing Starkweather, but more interestingly, leading police to the site of a snuff film ring being run from the estate's confines. Linked to this ring is Carcer City's own police chief, Gary Schaffer, whose lawyer stated that he intends to plead not guilty.
We're lost. What? Oh, shut up and get some of your boys to take care of it. Don't file the arrest report. Don't kill him either. Send both to me.
Hey, remember who you're talking to, you son.
Listen, you jerk job to clean up this city's mess. That's what you get paid for.
The Carcer City Police Department is the corrupt law enforcement agency supposedly tasked with protecting Carcer City, appearing as hunters in the first manhunt. The CCPD are Carcer City's main police force, led by the corrupt chief Gary Schaffer, who takes bribes from Lionel Starkweather to allow the director's snuff film ring to operate within the city. As a result of this, the CCPD are mostly ineffective at their stated jobs, and are entirely used as pawns by Starkweather.
There ain't any escaping Carcer City, asshole!
The CCPD can be seen wearing an all-blue police uniform, sometimes accompanied by a black jacket or pants with yellow stripes. The officers can be heard muttering about selling stolen drugs, beating homeless people, and complaining about being forced to search for James Earl Cash, who they believe to be just another street thug or hobo.
I love a good hobo hunt.
Just as they are in real life, these police are usually found in groups, and are rarely seen alone or separated. Like other hunters, once they spot the corpse of a fellow police officer, they will fight noticeably harder and stick together, making it difficult to pick them off one by one. In the events of Manhunt, once Cash escapes the Darkwoods Penitentiary, Ramirez is dispatched by the director to hunt him down in the Darkwoods district, but is himself killed by Cash, who manages to escape with the journalist's help. Starkweather, desperately wanting to stop Cash, calls in a favor to the corrupt chief, Gary Schaffer, and orders him to march his boys out to capture Cash.
We're lost.
What? Are you fucking...
Oh, shut up and get some of your boys to take care of it. Don't file the arrest report. Don't kill him either. Send both to me.
Hey, Remember who you're talking to, you son.
Listen, you fuck, it's your job to clean up this city's mess. That's what you get paid for.
CCPD officers then flood the central district and patrol its streets and the area surrounding the journalist's apartment. The officers are under the impression that they are apprehending a junkie, likely a lie told to them by Schaffer.
You got it, I'll stay close.
Stick close and keep quiet. I'll
My
be
place
back
is upstairs.
soon.
Here, I got the keys.
He's really...
Don't leave me alone for that long again.
Hold up.
Okay, if you think it's safe. Everything I need is in that box under the table.
Good. Take it and get out of town.
But you're not coming with me?
I'm going to deal with Starkweather personally. Thank him for my second chance. You're my backup if I don't make it. Have a nice life.
This is dispatch. Seal the perimeter. Snipers have been ordered to move in.
Shit! We got plenty big trouble!
We better go see what's going on.
Cash manages to kill many of them, and then they guard the subway.
You'll never get out of that subway alive.
Roger, we're at the station.
This is Charlie Leader. Power has been shut off. Repeat, power is off.
They are then assisted by the SWAT when they shut down the subway.
This is Bravo Leader. Regroup at the tracks. Roger, Alpha Team. Charlie is en route from the precinct as we speak.
All of the officers are killed as Cash takes the subway to the train yard, where he is ultimately cornered by the SWAT. However, the Cerberus suddenly emerge and kill the remaining SWAT, incapacitating Cash and bringing him to Starkweather.
CCPD! Hold it right there!
Fucking A, we got him! Woohoo! Put your fucking hands up! Shoot that cop killer son of a bitch!
After this, they make no more appearances outside of the ending cutscene of Deliverance.
Shoot that cop killer!
The SWAT team are heavily armed law enforcement units that appear as hunters in both Manhunt and Manhunt 2. The SWAT team are the special backup for the corrupt CCPD and the Cottonmouth Police Department whenever the situations become too extreme or difficult for regular law enforcement. They are also heavily armed and rarely seen alone, much like Carcer and Cottonmouth's own officers. In the events of the first Manhunt, after Cash survives the battle against the corrupt police force and helps the journalists make it to the station, the SWAT arrive to shut things down.
Roger, we're at the station.
This is Charlie Leader. Power has been shut off. Repeat, power is off.
Many SWAT officers are killed by Cash as he turns the power back on and makes it to the Stockyard train yard.
This is Bravo Leader. Regroup at the tracks. Roger, Alpha Team. Charlie is en route from the precinct as we speak.
Take him down! Think we swear? Damn!
The CCPD and SWAT hunt for Cash throughout the train yard until eventually cornering him and preparing to execute him on the spot.
CCPD! Hold it right there!
Fucking A! We got him! Woohoo! Put your fucking hands up! Shoot that cop killer son of a bitch!
Cerberus mercenaries arrive and kill off the firing squad, keeping Cash alive to take to Starkweather.
What the fuck is this?
Well, what do you think of your new friend? You look good together, Cash. Really, you do. Now, get going. Entertain me.
The Tramp is a minor character appearing in Manhunt. He is a drunk, homeless man, and an extra in the snuff film that James Earl Cash is forced to participate in, whom he must escort and protect in the drunk driving mission.
Okay, you two be careful now.
Unlike most other characters, the Tramp's background was not elaborated on during the game, or in any other official media for Manhunt. The instruction manual, however, suggests he was already on another one of Starkweather's snuff films, as there was a movie from Valiant Enterprises named The Tramp Who Knew Too Much. But even if this is true, that the Tramp we see in this mission is the same one seen in that movie, it's unknown if the Tramp truly works for Lionel Starkweather, or if he's just kept hostage like Piggsy. Actually, the title of the movie would seem to suggest that he was a victim. What is clear, however, is that the Tramp seems to be just a typical drunkard who always indulges himself in alcohol, while someone like Piggsy, on the other hand, is just an insane mass murderer who was formerly a successful snuff film star, much like Cash.
Bring back something to drink, would ya?
Some in-game comments by the Tramp give a few hints about his early life. He appears to have a strong dislike of authority figures and resents being ordered around. His comments mostly indicate his love for alcohol, and it is also unknown if he was always a homeless. Perhaps he was stuck in Carcer City all of his life, or maybe, like Cash, he could have been taken from the prison. There is just no way of knowing.
Where's your hobo buddy?
Cash himself dislikes the Tramp, with some lines telling him to shut up while he checks ahead and even threatens to kill the Tramp if he makes too much noise while following him. This is because by the time Cash meets up with the Tramp, the death row inmate was furious by Starkweather's betrayal after coldly revealing his family being killed by the Innocentz after he rescues them from the Wardogs, and Starkweather himself calling the Tramp his new friend is nothing less than a disrespectful tease. Despite this, Cash still has slight compassion, sometimes telling the Tramp to stay out of trouble when he orders him to hide. Then again, he is required to escort the Tramp, so is it really compassion if he needs him to live?
Stay here, out of trouble.
Whoever you are, I know you're here, and I'm gonna find you. Ah! Ah!
In the first moments of drunk driving, Lionel Starkweather goes on to tell Cash that he arranged some company for him because he looked lonely, a taunt from his side in reference to the newly discovered fate of Cash's relatives. The director tells the now betrayed Cash that the Innocentz locked said person in a guarded room nearby and orders Cash to free him.
I've got a little surprise for you. You looked lonely, so I got you some company. Unfortunately, the Innocentz thought better of it and locked him up. You're gonna have to bust him up. Well, what do you think of your new friend? You look good together, Cash. Really, you do. I'll only open any gates if he's with you, alive and well. Now, get going. Entertain me.
After successfully taking out the babyface hunter guarding the makeshift prison, Cash, to his dismay, sees his company as nothing more than a dirty and inebriated homeless man. The director then orders Cash to take the homeless, intoxicated man with him to Carcer Church as part of the snuff film.
I told you, get that hobo safely to the gate, and I'll bust you through.
Reluctantly, Cash must hide and protect the Tramp from the Innocentz along the path, as there are some locked gates blocking the way in certain areas, and the director will only let Cash proceed if the Tramp is with him.
Not man enough to cut it in Carcer, huh? Well, I'll show that bitch.
We've only got so many jumps for you to chew up. Make each one count. Oh man, you're playing these jumps like a maestro.
Move it.
I'm not blind, Cash. Where's your hobo buddy?
What the hell? This looks comfortable enough.
We gonna get some liquor?
Hey, you better come back for me, buddy.
Tackle! You know the deal, Cash. I open the door when I see your friend.
When Cash escorts the homeless man to the old tomb behind the church, which has an exit to the street, the scene is cut, and then Cash is instantly seen in the underground entrance of the Carcer Chem factory in the following mission. Thus, the fate of the Tramp is unknown, since he is not seen or heard from again. Ultimately, he could have been killed by Starkweather, or, going by his little-known past, the man may have been taken, with plans to use him in another movie.
It looks like this goes all the way to the top. I can't trust anyone, least of all the police, and time's running out. I've got to get the one piece of evidence that will expose Starkweather without a shadow of a doubt. Footage and testimony of a man who was executed by the state 5 hours ago.
The journalist is a protagonist in Rockstar Games' Manhunt. She's a young reporter who has been researching Starkweather's activity for some time, and hinted that Starkweather is now onto her. It is unknown how, but the journalist discovered that Cash's execution was fake in order for him to be used in another one of Starkweather's snuff films. After watching Cash's execution, she began searching for clues of his location, intending to have him as a witness to accuse Starkweather.
I'm a reporter! I was at your execution!
Keep talking.
I've been following Starkweather's little operation for months.
Who's Starkweather?
The guy that's been talking you through this whole circus of death?
Mysteriously, the journalist did discover Cash's location after he was captured by Ramirez and the Wardogs. Then she courageously headed there in a red ballista compact and rescued him. Later, the duo headed to the journalist's apartment to pick up the evidence. Before they reach the building itself, the street is surrounded by corrupt officers from Carcer City Police Department, determined to kill her and Cash.
Pull over here.
But it's another block or two to my apartment!
Just shut up and stick with me if you want to stay alive.
If you hear me scream, you better come back for me, okay?
Cash kills all the patrolling officers before leading the journalist back to her apartment, and finally, the locked room, where she hid all of the evidence.
Everything I need is in that box under the table.
Good. Take it and get out of town.
But you're not coming with me?
I'm going to deal with Starkweather personally. Thank him for my second chance. You're my backup if I don't make it. Have a nice life.
At the same time Cash is making his way to Starkweather's mansion, the journalist manages to accuse Starkweather with her evidence. However, Starkweather negates the accusations.
But Mr. Starkweather refuses to comment on these allegations. At this point, it is unclear as to whether or not he will ever be allowed to direct again. This is...
After Starkweather was killed, the evidence found on his estate exposed the corruption of Carcer City Police. She is last seen on a TV broadcast, doing a news bulletin about Starkweather being found dead, alongside security personnel, thus discovering the snuff film ring.
Acclaimed movie maker Lionel Starkweather has been found dead today, along with several of his bodyguards, at his estate at the Wapona Hills residential district. In what investigators are calling a bloody vendetta, an unknown assailant infiltrated the compound, killing Starkweather, but more interestingly, leading police to the site of a snuff film ring being run from the estate's confines. Linked to this ring is Carcer City's own police chief, Gary Schaffer, whose lawyer stated that he intends to plead not guilty.
A bonus sound file of an audio transcript from the Manhunt website revealed that the aftermath has put her in a state of mental paranoia, unable to cope with witnessing so much violence, and the whole concept of people willingly participating in such a depraved sport for the amusement of others. She mentions that she has post-traumatic stress disorder, or at least thinks she does. She's being interviewed in a mental hospital by a doctor, who says the journalist was found wandering the streets in tears with a knife in her hand. She blindly believed the doctor as part of a conspiracy to somewhat keep her quiet, and refused the doctor's suggestion to sedate her as part of the treatment. It's also mentioned that she's suffering from insomnia. During this interview, she actually reveals some information about herself. At the time of Manhunt, she had worked at a television station for 3 years, then a radio station for 2 years before that. She also mentions that both of her parents are dead. That has been everything we know about the journalist and Rockstar Games Manhunt. If you want more Manhunt lore, remember to like and subscribe, and join the Discord server to have fun with the community. Thank you for watching.
How are you feeling?
Leave me alone, please.
This is part of your treatment.
My treatment? Really? Good.
Yes. The treatment, you know that.
It seems to be doing me a lot of good. You guys certainly know about right and wrong. Thanks.
You ever want to go back to work?
Yes, I really want to go back to work. Find out some more lies. Are you kidding me, you moron? Go back to work? You've spoken to me. You know what happened.
You had a breakdown.
Yes, of course I had a breakdown. I got very scared. You know what I saw. How the hell would that make you feel? Patronizing idiot. You think you can get out of bed after you've seen that?
We all saw it on the television. You broke the story. Why does it make you so angry?
Yeah, you saw it on television. I saw it. There's a difference. I saw him, you idiot. I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't hurt anyone. I'm not mad. I'm not mad.
Are you feeling any calmer?
I feel just great, thanks.
You're full of hostility. Have you been sleeping?
No, not really. I don't trust what's going to happen. Who's paying you to do this? Why are you doing this?
It's my job. Answer the questions, please. It's part of your treatment. How long were you working for the TV station?
3 years. And 2 years at a local station in the South before that. Look, there is nothing wrong with me. Nothing at all. I am fine. Completely normal. I just can't forget about what I saw. About the prison. You know, we've been over this several times before. About the fact that the government is a lie. How does that happen, Mr. State-Run Flight Deck Doctor? How does that work? Tell me that, and I'll tell you what's wrong with me. You bastard, you liar, you pathetic yes man. Answer me that!
Do you think you need sedating?
No, I don't need sedating. Don't threaten me with that crap. You know that's crap. That's your weapon, isn't it? Threaten the patient till they tell you what you want to hear. If you call yourself a doctor, you're a witch doctor for a bunch of liars. How do you sleep at night?
We're not talking about me. Tell me about your parents.
My parents? Screw my parents. My parents are dead, and that's very sad, but I ain't here because of that. You know that. I'm here because it's a lie. The police, the state, the mayor, all of that crap. It's a lie, and you know it, and you still do this. I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Why not?
Let me see. Oh yeah, because you're using it to keep me in here? Because we've been over it 1,000 times? Because you know what I think about it? I can't go back to work. I don't sleep anymore. I'm locked up in a madhouse. My career is screwed. I will have nightmares for the rest of my life. I used to think I was a hard reporter, some real tough bitch or something, and now I'm scared of the dark. And I didn't do anything wrong. Not a thing. What did I do wrong to suffer this much?
Life isn't like that, I'm afraid. Do you not think you're improving?
Can I go home if I say yes?
Unfortunately, that's not my decision. I can only make recommendations. Dependent upon your response to these sessions. You understand I merely make objective recommendations based on whether I think you're a risk to yourself or to others. To society.
Society? What the hell is society? What is it? Play by the rules? Let me tell you the rules. The rules are these. I've seen people kill people. Men hack each other to death so some rich asshole can film it. Is that society? Is it? Is that who you're protecting from me? Look at me. Look up from that clipboard, you bastard, you dwarf, you awful little creep. Is that society? Are the police society? Is prison part of this wonderful society? What about the mental health system? People released without anyone signing the forms, but somehow I ain't one of them, because no one wants me for some film. At least they didn't. Or worse, other people, the system your society had looked after and was protecting us from, well, it didn't protect me.
Do you feel you're making any progress?
No, I don't need to make any progress. I'm not ill like that. I just saw a dead man. Yeah, very funny, I know. I saw a dead man and I'm not ill, but you know it's true.
You were found walking the streets a couple weeks after you filed that report. In tears, with a knife. That sounds pretty ill to me.
Yes, I posted the story and then I couldn't sleep. I thought I could deal with things. You know this crap. Does it surprise you? Even I could diagnose what's wrong with me. Post-traumatic stress, or whatever the hell you call it. And let's be straight about it. I did experience trauma. Not trauma like my cat died or I'm a fat girl or any of that shit. I saw a man get killed by the state. A guy get killed by the state with a priest and prison guys and in the chair. I was behind the glass. I saw him die. Then I spoke to him. To Cash.
Did you? But no one else saw Cash. Or spoke to him.
So I'm a liar now. I'm a liar? What about the police? What about the prison system? What about it? What about Starkweather? You know that's true. I had a known killer in my car. A guy I saw killed, and I was speaking to him, threatened by him, and he was dead. Your friends, the government, they killed him. How are you supposed to move on or deal with or express your feelings or any of that crap about that? Huh? How? Tell me, and I'll do it. Or let me the hell out of here, you little moron. You've been no help. You make it all a lot worse. You know, he was dead. He was executed. I saw it, and he was in my car, alive. I'm not a freaking wacko, you prick. You know I'm not.
Piggsy is a deranged cannibalistic mass murderer who wears a skinned pig's head over his face and slaughters his victims with a chainsaw. Appearing to be an obese middle-aged man, he is also completely inhuman in behavior and has lost all connection with reality. His mental state is degraded into an animalistic and childlike state, as he seems to only be capable of speaking a few basic words or mimicking a pig's grunts and squeals. He is a remorseless killer, butchering all those who come across his path with his chainsaw. Because of this, Piggsy became Starkweather's star performer in his snuff films. The director kept him chained and locked up in an abandoned attic on his estate, and fed him human flesh, which was delivered to him by Cerberus guards. Despite the fact that they were cold-blooded professional killers, the Cerberus operatives treated him with both genuine fear and disgust. He is the final adversary Cash faces off against in the story, and is a deadly opponent. Sometime before the events of Manhunt, Piggsy was enlisted by Starkweather to perform in a snuff movie ring. It is commonly believed that Piggsy was James Earl Cash's predecessor, but he became insane due to the violence, and he was seen as a weak yet entertaining person to use. He had a long and successful career in the Starkweather Company, releasing such movies as Piggsy's Greatest Hits and Piggsy's Bloopers. Sometime after these films were produced, Starkweather locked Piggsy away in an attic on his estate before employing James Earl Cash. While locked away in the attic of the estate, Cerberus guards are seen feeding Piggsy human remains. Piggsy eventually confronts Cash and ambushes him in an elevator. Cash escapes the elevator and finds himself in the abandoned attic of the estate, with Piggsy hot on his trail. They hunt for each other in the attic until Cash is able to cripple Piggsy with 2 glass shards and a wooden spike. Piggsy, wounded and scared for his life, retreats to his lair. Cash follows in pursuit. He chases Cash to the top of the estate's spiraling staircase, just outside of Starkweather's room, and confronts Cash for the final time.
Piggsy's angry. Pigsy's home. Pigsy's gonna
Hey, tough guy, wake up. You're not dead. Well, not yet, anyway.
Lionel Starkweather, also known as the Director, is a major character and the main antagonist of Rockstar Games' Manhunt.
Now only you can hear me, and that's the way you're gonna want it, because I'm your only way out of here.
The twisted mastermind behind the whole scenario, the Director communicates to James Earl Cash through an earpiece until Cash kills the White Rabbit. He tells Cash where to go, and sometimes gives instructions on performing certain special tasks.
There's a nail gun in that trailer, if you can stand the smell.
Starkweather's personality is ultimately that of a perverted and immature psychopath who is utterly devoid of any form of moral compass, empathy, or remorse. He is very impatient and shows absolutely no regards towards anyone's death. He gets very excited after Cash kills a hunter, and becomes annoyed to the point of throwing childish tantrums if Cash waits around too long.
Move, you hairy ass!
He is also shown to be manipulative and dishonest, as Starkweather promised to release Cash if he participated in his snuff films. However, in reality, he was planning to have Cash murdered by the Smileys. Another example is after Cash rescues his family members, Starkweather heartlessly orders the Innocentz to execute one of his relatives.
You must understand, Cash. I could never let them go. Where were your family when you were facing your final moments in the chamber anyway? You've left your old life, your old self behind. I'm all the family you need now.
Starkweather is not only motivated by his sadistic and hedonistic impulses, but his own psychotic beliefs as well. Although he's producing snuff films for the black market, Starkweather still views himself as a great director and artist. Many of his quotes praising Cash's executions revolve around a delusional belief that he will make him a star, and bragging that Cash will turn the slash world on its head. Despite all the countless indirect murders he's committed, Starkweather ultimately proves himself to be a coward. He relies on Ramirez or the Cerberus into doing his dirty work for him, while hiding in a secure mansion. When Starkweather is confronted by Cash at the end of Manhunt, he attempts to kill him with a revolver. However, Starkweather resorts to running away, and futilely attempts to negotiate with Cash into sparing his life after he runs out of ammo.
Cash, I made you!
Although the director seems to hold all the hunters he employs in low regard and regularly insults them, he seems to reserve particular disdain for the Skinz. He appears to be disgusted with their overt racism, referring to them as dumbass supremacists, stating they are always blaming others for their inadequacies.
These Skinz are boring me, dumbass supremacist bastards, always blaming others for their inadequacies. Butcher them, Cash! Cut them up! Beat them down and choke the fucking life out of them!
Lionel Starkweather was once a successful Vinewood film director until his movie started to flop badly and his career was finished. Later, he moved to Carcer City and developed an obsession towards morbid acts of violence. Soon, Starkweather began producing underground pornography and snuff films, which he sold to certain Japanese businessmen. His newfound success made Starkweather very rich, allowing him to open an illegal company named Valiant Video Enterprises. Eventually, Starkweather began working with various criminals and hired local psychopaths, including Ramirez, to serve him. Starkweather also employed a group of mercenaries known as the Cerberus to serve as his personal bodyguards. At some point, Starkweather exacted his revenge on those who ruined his career by filming their murders in a video collection he entitled Director's Cut. Starkweather began paying off the CCPD police chief Gary Schaffer, allowing him absolute control over Carcer City and all the gangs participating in his snuff films. At one point, he purchased a mansion, which was designed by the Las Venturas Planning Department and built in Wapona Hills. With all this power, Starkweather remained isolated in his mansion, watching everything through security cameras and paying people to do all his dirty work.
Hey, tough guy, wake up. You're not dead. Well, not yet, anyway.
At some point, a journalist discovered Starkweather's snuff film ring and began gathering evidence against him. Meanwhile, Starkweather found out about James Earl Cash and decided to direct a movie starring him. In doing so, he bribes the police and prison officials into releasing Cash from death row.
You're getting a second chance. Another throw of the dice. As far as the world is concerned, you died back in the chamber. Justice was served. James Earl Cash is rotting in hell. Hey, get a grip and calm down. You're probably suffering from shock, and I'm here to help. Pick up the ears. Put it on. Go on.
That's better. Now only you can hear me. And that's the way you're gonna want it, because I'm your only way out of here.
Cash is given an earpiece so Starkweather can talk to him and instructs him to perform various tasks, while Starkweather watches and films it through security cameras. He also has many sections of the city blocked off by electric fences, which he can open once Cash has completed the task. He has the Cerberus transport Cash to each location, while Ramirez organizes the hunters.
Now fucking move!
Hold up, Cash. You and your family weren't exactly close, am I right? It's just that I thought it would be nice to have a surprise reunion. But these Wardogs didn't see it my way, and they've taken matters into their own hands. They're using them as bait, Cash. Bait! I know! I can hardly believe it myself. Each time they spot you, these Wardogs are going to execute one of your beloved family.
He soon has Cash's family kidnapped for him to rescue. Regardless of doing so, Starkweather still has at least one of Cash's family members killed anyway, and shows the footage to Cash, enraging him.
Where were your family when you were facing your final moments in the chamber anyway?
Nearing the end of the film, Cash is set to die, but he manages to fight back and escapes. Starkweather even orders Ramirez to stop Cash, but Ramirez himself is ultimately killed. He then has the corrupt police chief Gary Schaffer send police forces after Cash and the journalist. Cash soon breaks into Starkweather's estate and kills the Cerberus guarding the compound. After an intense fight with Piggsy, Cash grabs Piggsy's chainsaw and enters Starkweather's office as he attempts to defend himself with a revolver, but fails. Starkweather pleads for his life and tells Cash, "I made you." Cash finally brutally murders him with the chainsaw, disemboweling him before sinking it into his head.
Cash, I made you!
Tired of all the sunshine and good weather? Looking for a real American vacation? Visit the shining jewel in the Rust Belt crown, Carcer City. It's a real man's vacation. The pride of a nation is in Carcer City. It's steel, ice, and poverty. Spend a romantic evening in the beauty of the nighttime river glow at the flaming river. Watch real men who make things lose their jobs and fight on our special Closing the Mill guided tour. Come see what we're really made of. This is real America. Drunk, proud, unemployed, and angry. Hear the eagle roar. In Carcer City, this is what the Heartland is all about.
Carcer City is a fictional city in the 3D GTA universe, featuring as the main setting of Manhunt. It's depicted as being a severe state of poverty and disrepair, occupied by swarms of criminals on the streets, and having a dysfunctional and corrupt police force, completely in the pocket of Lionel Starkweather. Carcer City is an extreme caricature of a Rust Belt city, taking inspiration from places such as Camden, New Jersey, Flint and Detroit, Michigan, East Louis, Illinois, and Gary, Indiana. It is implied that in the past, Carcer City was once a booming industrial center, as evident by its large factories and stockyards, before it fell into a state of deep neglect and became crippled by crime and depression. The events that happened throughout Carcer City and Manhunt can be attributed to Lionel Starkweather, who lives in a massive guarded estate far from the rotted inner city. At an unknown time in the city's past, Starkweather effectively bought off its entire police department by bribing its chief, Gary Schaffer, into giving him unlimited access to the city's abandoned districts in order to film his snuff films. Most, if not all, of the gangs that plague the city's streets are on the director's payroll. Many parts of Carcer seem to be in a state of near anarchy, as large sections of the city appear to be in complete control by gangs, or neglected by its apathetic and ineffective police force. Carcer City is likely located in a Rust Belt state in the US, and it is also in the vicinity of Liberty City. There's a polluted river located in the city that catches on fire, a reference to the Cuyahoga River, and a bay called Rock's North Bay. The terrain is mostly flat, aside from surrounding hills that house the wealthier neighborhoods, and no mountains are visible. Not much else is known or revealed about the environment in Carcer City.
The senator also visited the Darkwoods Penitentiary, which hosts more than 1,000 inmates from all over the country. The prison's modern facilities include spacious cells for the inmates. The exceptionally well-staffed hospital is equipped for emergencies, as well as routine health checks. Adjacent to Row 1, the electric chair room is where death sentences are carried out.
Darkwoods Penitentiary is a large prison located in the Darkwoods district of Carcer City, specifically created for holding violent and deranged criminals from across the country. This facility housed a large number of mentally ill individuals who would later form the gang, the Smileys, after the prison's overthrow.
The lunatics have taken over the asylum, Cash. The only way to reason with these gibbering idiots is with a stick and a gun.
Appearance-wise, the Darkwoods Penitentiary's exterior is similar to the real-life Ohio and Pennsylvania state penitentiaries, the latter of which retired in 1971. Darkwoods was a prison holding over 1,000 inmates from all over America, mostly murderers and the criminally insane. The prison also carried out death sentences in the form of the electric chair and lethal injection. However, the staff began taking bribes from Lionel Starkweather to use inmates in his snuff films.
Hey, tough guy, wake up. You're not dead. Well, not yet, anyway. You're getting a second chance. Another throw of the dice. As far as the world is concerned, you died back in the chamber. Justice was served. James Earl Cash is rotting in hell.
In the year 2000, James Earl Cash was imprisoned here and sentenced to death, and his execution took place 3 years later in 2003. However, as he was supposed to be executed by lethal injection, Starkweather bribed the staff to simply sedate him in order to let him loose, with the public believing him to be dead.
Hey, get a grip and calm down. You're probably suffering from shock, and I'm here to help. Pick up the earrings. Put it on. Go on.
That's better. Now only you can hear me, and that's the way you're gonna wanted because I'm your only way out of here. Hey, easy. Look, you've had an unexpected reprieve. Do exactly as I say, and I promise this will be over before the night is out.
Cash is set loose on a massive killing spree under orders of Starkweather. Meanwhile, the other inmates in the asylum broke free and killed all of the prison guards.
The lunatics have taken over the asylum, Cash. The only way to reason with these gibbering idiots is with a stick and a gun. I want you to kill the hunter patrolling the tower walkway and bring his body to the guard room.
They form a dangerous gang, calling themselves the Smileys, before eventually taking over and vandalizing the prison. Many bloodstains and graffiti texts can be found on the walls. Dead bodies, possibly orderlies or different inmates, can be spotted hanging from the ceilings. After eliminating various gangs throughout Carcer City, Starkweather eventually orders the Cerberus to bring Cash back home, now that the prison is under complete control of the Smileys, the final hunters of his snuff film. Starkweather first orders Cash to kill a certain Smiley patrolling the tower walkway, then bring his body to the prison's guard room.
Sometimes I wonder why I fight all these ungrateful idiots at all.
For bringing his head, I'll leave a gift for you in the next location.
Next, Cash finds himself in a cell block where he is forced to perform some violent and gruesome executions using a hammer and a metal baseball bat.
Monkey see, monkey kill. That's your motivations for the next scenes. You're killing to entertain, so take your time and play to the camera.
Shed your skin and slip into the deep water. You can't wear it forever.
Fog angry.
Then Cash fights his way up along the upper walkways into the shower block, killing many Smileys along the way.
Here's your reward for being such a good head collector.
Everybody, listen.
Okay, Cash, you performed brilliantly. Don't worry, I've got plenty more Wonderland fun lined up for you. You're my big, ugly Alice, so go on, follow the White Rabbit.
Cash then runs into the White Rabbit, a man dressed in a bunny suit. Starkweather orders Cash to follow him, and so the rabbit leads him into many traps where the Smileys ambush him, but Cash ends up killing each and every one of them.
Get rid of the pink dress freak and get up to the watchroom. Mr. Rabbit has left you a gift.
Aperitif, anyone?
Eventually, Cash reaches a workshop room where Starkweather finally finishes filming Cash for his snuff film. He says the audience will love him, and ultimately betrays him.
You made it! Oh dear, you see, you didn't make it after all!
What can I say? You are a good leading man. The audience will love you. Don't expect any royalty checks where you're going.
The White Rabbit is led outside, and Starkweather orders the remaining Smileys to kill Cash. Cash, however, fights back and finishes off the gang entirely, then heads outside.
You're supposed to be dead! Oh, fuck! He's after my freaking kid!
The White Rabbit is shocked to see Cash is still alive, and attempts to make a run for it, hiding himself in a guard tower, armed with a shotgun. Meanwhile, the Cerberus have arrived to stop Cash in his tracks. Cash fights his way through the Cerberus, up to the guard tower, killing the White Rabbit, and taking the prison key he was holding. More Cerberus come to assist, but Cash kills all of them, and finally uses the key to leave the Darkwoods Penitentiary, once and for all, now escaping his death sentence for a second time. Mr. Nasty is the name given to a mysterious unseen character mentioned in the Valiant Video Enterprise Winter Spring Catalog, which is the instruction manual for Manhunt. Mr. Nasty is the anonymous face of Starkweather's film business, and is believed to be the main villain behind the game's events. Although he's only mentioned and pictured in the game's instruction manual, Mr. Nasty is the financial backer and producer of the snuff film ring, under Valiant Video Enterprises. He sells all manner of things, from gimp masks to snuff movies from the hunts. In the game manual, references to Mr. Nasty are accompanied by a picture of a man in a Skinz hockey mask who appears in the game's cover art. Though it's unknown if this is actually him or not, it's safe to assume. The fate of Mr. Nasty is left ambiguous, while the manual and website show the snuff ring is active and thriving. With the death of Starkweather and the outing of Gary Schaffer, it seems as though Mr. Nasty was caught and prosecuted, while the snuff empire collapsed. However, it's equally as likely that Mr. Nasty was able to escape public scrutiny and continue his criminal activities.
That's why I always enjoyed clowning. Clowning has taken a bad name.
The Clowns are a gang that were cut from Manhunt. The Clowns are a group of mentally ill men with malicious grins on their faces, who wear blue suits and red ties. Numbers 1 through 8 are only distinguished by their face paint, which ranges from menacing clown makeup to more frightening designs. The 9th one resembles Oliver Hardy of the comedy duo Laurel and Hardy.
What do you want?
Don't push it up until I tell you.
The following was taken from the bio included with the Clowns' artwork. The Clowns are the final in-hunt pack that the player meets, and are as extreme as the hunt allows. Laughing and shouting, they pursue runners, mainly for the entertainment. Clowns are the most high-ranked pack within the hunt at present, due to the barring of the Smileys for gross disobedience. Fierce rivalry exists between the two gangs, and although the Smileys are regarded as the superior pack, the Clowns are not to be laughed at. Sponsor James W. Gacy, head of the city's art galleries and museums. Special ability: extremely deadly, but possessing no special talents, beyond the fact they are expert hunters. The Clowns often stored amphetamines and other stimulants during a hunt. Whether or not this enhances their performance is debatable. The Clowns don't care if this enhances their performance or not, they just like the crack of it. Audio: demented laughter and shouted threats of violence. The Scarecrow, also known by his real name Kenneth Jefferson, is a removed character from Manhunt. He was the former leader of the Smileys, before falling out of favor with Lionel Starkweather, due to him being responsible for the, quote, Piggsy debacle, and has since become just another member of Carcer City, who some members of the community speculate to be the Tramp.
Now, get going. Entertain me.
His persona of being just another member of the city suddenly changes whenever he puts on his mask, and he becomes violent, wielding a homemade axe. During Halloween, Scarecrow also dons a pumpkin mask. The following has been taken from the bio included with Scarecrow's artwork. Formerly the head hunter amongst the Smileys, Kenneth Jefferson was stripped of his mask and rank for being responsible for the Piggsy debacle. Now chastised and long past simple derangement, he sleeps rough in the streets of the arenas, desperately hoping to find and kill Piggsy, and redeem himself in the eyes of the commander and his sponsor. Dressed in rags, he resembles any other derelict, until he dons the mask and weapon of his Scarecrow persona. Jefferson is a crude yet deadly homemade axe, wielding it with savage intensity. If encountered as a tramp, Jefferson just makes indistinct mumblings and typical drunken rants. However, when transformed into the Scarecrow, his past as a Smiley comes to fore, and he descends into maniacal tittering and civilian hissing. The Camheds are a rather strange gang that was originally going to appear in Manhunt, but were dropped from the final version. Each member of the Camheds had an actual camera for a head. Although unknown, it is fairly possible that the Camheds were intended to be actual cameramen, and not proper hunters for Cash to face off against. It's also unknown if the cameras were actually their heads, or if it was indeed just some type of equipment hooked up to them, or even just a basic mask. Now, assuming that the Camheds did indeed have actual functioning cameras for heads, that may give an idea as to why they were dropped from the final version of the game, as they would really stand out as an otherworldly, almost alien or robotic type of entity, breaking the player's immersion when the game itself is grounded in a very dark and gritty reality. Now, aside from the cameras, the Camheds stand out as the only gang to be nicely dressed, all of them depicted wearing business suits. Their clothing is very different from the clothing of the rest of the hunters, all of whom either expose their face or have horrifying masks, and who don ragged and ripped up clothing. And as for weapons, they were originally going to be using a spiked bat and a lead pipe, both of which were also cut. The Camheds are definitely one of the more interesting pieces of cut content from Manhunt, and it's quite unfortunate that we don't have more information on them. Here's hoping in a potential Manhunt 3 we may get more information. Were they robots, filming equipment, dressed up in human clothing, or is it simply that they were just another gang of hunters? It's hard to tell. Binbag is a character that appeared in the beta version of Manhunt, but was dropped from the final version of the game along with the gang he leads, known as the Lost. From pictures we can see that he is a heavy-set man with rotting teeth, wearing an outfit made out of garbage bags and barbed wire, complete with an eye-obscuring mask, and for weapons he would have carried 2 makeshift knives with rusty blades. According to the last part of his description, which describes him as emerging from the shadows, roaring like a madman, he presumably would have been a very animalistic individual, even by the standards of the other hunters. The fact that he was the leader of the Lost would indicate that he was meant to be a boss character like Piggsy or Ramirez, and presumably would have been fought at the end of whatever level would have included them. Unfortunately, not much is known about the cut content or beta versions of Manhunt. This has been all we know about Binbag, the leader of the Lost. Now, as for the Lost themselves, the Lost's armor provides excellent camouflage and protection, at the risk of being noticeably noisy or hard to move around in. Their weapons are most likely going to be pieces of junk such as hunks of rusty steel, broken pipes, glass shards, that sort of thing, all improvised into deadly tools. The Skinz obtained some of their features in the final version of the game, such as roaming around the scrapyard and the use of nail guns. Binbag's early game model and the screenshots of the underlings suggest they were closer to being in the game than the Camheds, Jury, or the Clowns before their models and files were lost. I suppose their name is quite fitting. The Jury were an early gang that would become what is now known as the Skinz. Some features of the Jury were later carried over to the gang, such as their hockey masks or choice of weapons. This means that unlike gangs such as the Lost or the Camheds, they weren't entirely dropped. No bio for the Jury is provided anywhere. In fact, there is no information about them outside of this image, which reads, "The Jury. Hockey masks are a classic killer design, and although the Jury were dropped as a gang, the masks had to be kept and were adapted onto the Skinz gang." Due to the themes of corruption throughout the game, it's probably good to say that they're just like the Carcer City Police Department. Basically just a bunch of corrupt cops or detectives. Basically people that may have seen themselves as more of a good guy than, say, a gang like the Smileys. Interestingly, in Grand Theft Auto 4, there's a pedestrian that wears a shirt that contains an image of a Jury gang member on it. The level for Born Again is named Jury Turf, implying they were once going to be the hunters of this level. And going off of the one image provided, they would have used weapons such as the wooden bat, and if they ended up being more like the Skinz, perhaps even the metal bat, the knife, and the nail gun.
Hey Phil, how's it going?
Hey, Toddy! This bit too long.
I swear you should lay off that boomshine, man.
Shh. There's something I want to show you. Ta-da! Oh, damn!
Phil Cassidy, also known as the One-Armed Bandit, is a bitter war veteran featured in Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories, Grand Theft Auto 3, and Manhunt, chronologically. In all appearances, Phil features a heavy artillery arms dealer selling the protagonist military-styled weaponry such as grenades, rocket launchers, miniguns, and more. He claims to have served in the military, however it is revealed that he was never in the army. In fact, he was turned down many times due to his bad temper and heavy drinking. Now as for his story in the world of Manhunt in Carcer City, Phil doesn't physically appear in the game, but he is mentioned by a Carcer City Police Department officer.
Promised my little boy I'd take him to Cassidy's Bargain Firearms Emporium tomorrow.
This would seem to suggest that Phil's business reaches Carcer City, and that the locals are frequent customers of his. We'll be going over all of the biggest Easter eggs to Manhunt found in Grand Theft Auto. Additionally, we'll also be covering Grand Theft Auto Easter eggs found in Manhunt. Keep in mind, though, that smaller things such as vehicles or store names may not be listed off. However, I do plan on coming back to this topic in a much more in-depth video. With that out of the way, let's get into the video. Let's start off with one of the most recent examples, being these masks from Grand Theft Auto Online. At one point in time, there was a Smileys mask, but now there's all of these, which are very easily obtainable. There's also this very interesting image I found on the Grand Theft Auto subreddit. I have no idea where this is located, but as you can see, it depicts a grotesque pig monster, a man in a mask vaguely resembling a smiley, and then of course, we have the White Rabbit. Credit to Mighty Carlos on Reddit who posted the image. Another Easter egg found in Grand Theft Auto 5, or maybe the online mode specifically, include this tattoo of Piggsy. And in the story mode for Grand Theft Auto 5, Michael makes a very interesting mention of a certain place we're all familiar with.
Mikey, bro, what was your first bank score?
88, outskirts of Carcer City. Took a small franchise for 10G.
And for another direct mention, there is this moment right here, which can be heard over the radio in Grand Theft Auto 3.
So I'm sitting here reading the Liberty Tree, and it says, in nearby Carcer City, a good day for law and order as Police Chief Gary Schaffer was cleared of corruption charges in a controversial decision by the courts. Let's hope those missing witnesses turn up safe and sound.
Tired of all the sunshine and good weather? Looking for a real American vacation? Visit the shining jewel in the Rust Belt crown, Carcer City. It's a real man's vacation. The pride of a nation is in Carcer City. It's steel, ice, and poverty. Watch real men who make things lose their jobs and fight on our special Closing the Mill guided tour. This is what the Heartland is all about.
In Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, during architectural espionage, CJ is required to enter the city planning department within Las Venturas. An interesting one of the blueprints that can be found is fittingly titled Starkweather's estate. Some more fun little Easter eggs that can be found in San Andreas include these action figures. Several vehicles and stores cross over between games, the Kuruma being just one example of a vehicle, and as for stores, there's Rite Aid, Toy Corner, Tarbush Cafe, and 24/7. Sprunk soda machines can be found in the game, along with occasional Sprunk cans as just random litter. Denton City Junkyard has the same car crusher and surroundings as the one featured in Grand Theft Auto Vice City. There were a couple of shopping bags with gash on it in the journalist's apartment during press coverage, which are used in Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Phil Cassidy from the Grand Theft Auto series is confirmed to exist within Manhunt.
Promised my little boy I'd take him to Cassidy's Bargain Firearms Emporium tomorrow.
And now for an interesting Easter egg connecting Manhunt and Bully. But I'll let Swagda take it from here.
I'm sure a lot of you know that GTA, Bully, and Manhunt all take place within the same fictional universe. Townsfolk will sometimes reference the latest Starkweather movie, and a car from GTA 3, the Stallion, can be seen in the shop classroom. But did you know that the condescending and its sometimes downright sadistic voice sometimes heard over the Asylum PA is the exact same as the PA voice used for Dixmoor Asylum in Manhunt 2?
Don't worry. The rumors of electric shock therapy are only that. Rumors. There's no such thing here. Really. A cell door is open. Our orderlies do not beat the patients. Anyone who claims otherwise is obviously crazy. Cells locked down.
Knowing that both of these asylums exist in the same universe, it makes me wonder if they're owned and operated by the same company.
A big thanks to Swagda for allowing me to include this in the video. I'm sure if you're a fan of Rockstar Games content, you've probably seen his channel before. But for those of you unfamiliar, Swagda is essentially the bully guy. If you're a fan of Bully, you gotta watch his channel. In Manhunt 2, the main character Daniel Lamb has a very interesting piece of backstory, having studied biochemistry at the University of San Fierro, San Andreas. In Grand Theft Auto 4, there are some pedestrians that can be spotted wearing a sports t-shirt for a team known as the Carcer City Unicorns, with the numbers 1103 being a nod to the release date of the game. Some more Grand Theft Auto 4 Easter eggs, this time tied directly to Manhunt 2, include graffiti, along with a building named the Majestic. The late 90s and early 2000s were a rough time for the video game industry, not necessarily due to the bad sales or a lack of interest in the hobby, but due to the growing amount of concerned parents and politicians worried that video games could entice children to commit crime.
Well, I've said that Grand Theft Auto is the worst assault on children since polio.
For most of us, we can tell the difference between reality and fiction, and we can understand that fear-mongering about video games is ridiculous. I mean, other forms of entertainment such as music or television shows don't create killers, not that the people worried about it care. To give you some examples, video games such as the Doom series, Postal, and Grand Theft Auto were often targets of these video games cause violence debates, and Rockstar, the company behind the Grand Theft Auto series, would only add fuel to the fire with games such as Bully, Max Payne, and Manhunt, the video game that caused a real-life murder. I apologize because some names may be mispronounced. On July 26, 2004, in Leicestershire, England, 17-year-old Warren LeBlanc had met up with his 14-year-old friend Stefan Pekira. Warren would tell Stefan that they were headed to Stokeswood Park to meet up with two girls. It seemed like a pretty good day for Stefan. He didn't have anything to worry about. Why would he? A nice walk with your friend, meeting up with some girls? Seems pretty harmless to me anyway. As for Warren, however, something had been bothering him. You see, Warren was fearing for his life, all due to the fact that he owed £75 to a gang called the Crusaders. This would be the equivalent of about 155 USD today. All that's known about this gang situation is that it was drug-related, and Warren was receiving messages informing him that something very nasty was imminent. And here's where things take a turn for the worst, because after arriving at the park, something would come over Warren. He'd later say he fell into a trance while doing this. Out of nowhere, he began stabbing and brutally beating Stefan with a claw hammer. When Stefan was discovered by police, they found deep cuts to his head and neck. His skull had been fractured in several places, and he had many stab wounds, with the knife having been plunged so deep that it caused serious injuries to his kidney and liver. Overall, Stefan would receive over 50 wounds from the attack, and unfortunately, he would end up passing away as a result of them. As for his attacker, Warren, covered in the boy's blood, would be arrested just a few moments later when he confessed to the murder upon running into two police officers. He would later claim that he only intended on robbing him, and that the reason for Stefan's death was due to Warren believing himself to be in imminent danger of serious bodily harm, as if he wasn't the one with the weapons. Initially, before Warren came out about his gang involvement, people speculated that this murder was caused by the video game Manhunt. For those of you unfamiliar with it, Manhunt is a video game series that sees a player take on the role of a leading man in a snuff film, with each level rewarding the player based on brutality. Aside from the media and activists such as Jack Thompson advocating for the game's ban and a lawsuit against Rockstar Games, Stefan's own parents would come out and pin some of the blame on the game. His father Patrick would refer to it as an instruction manual, and his mother Giselle would be in disbelief at how the murder mirrored events from Manhunt, even though no such scenes exist in the game. She would go on to say that Warren was obsessed with the game, and she too would advocate for its ban, along with other video games like it. It should be noted, although it's possible Warren had played the game at a friend's house, no copy was ever found in his. Instead, it was Stefan who owned it, and it was his parents who would have had to have been the people buying it for him, due to the fact that they wouldn't have been able to sell a video game like this to a child who was only 14 years old. Of course, Rockstar Games was reached out to by many over the case, and they would reject any link between the game and the crime, and would add that the game is clearly classified as 18+ by the British Board of Film Classification. Unfortunately, Stefan's murder would be used and exploited by others in an attempt to push their video games cause violence narrative, and as a result, the game would end up being removed from some store shelves, although it was practically flying off of others due to the media speculation of a potential ban increasing interest in the game. Unsurprisingly, Stefan's mother Giselle would express her disappointment over the increased sales, and advocate Jack Thompson was clearly very happy about this case, since he would remind everyone that it was him who warned Rockstar that this would happen. The Pekira family would go on to hire Thompson to represent them in a £50 million wrongful death suit against both Rockstar Games and Sony of all people, with this money being the equivalent of over 82 million USD today. This case wouldn't go very far, however, because the judge would instantly place sole responsibility on LeBlanc, who had been sentenced to life in prison. Unfortunately, the story can't just end there. I understand why greedy media outlets would want to exploit tragedy, but the family of the victim? For some inexplicable reason, when Manhunt 2 was released in 2007, the Pekira family would continue their video games cause violence campaign, and condemn the game's release. Rockstar's parent company Take-Two Interactive would speak out about this, reminding the public that the judge, defense, prosecution, and Lancashire police in the case had refuted any connection to the game. And after another failed attempt by Jack Thompson to get a video game banned, the Pekira family would go on to claim that the police had lied about which house the copy of Manhunt was found in. People grieve and cope with things very differently, but I can't understand why the Pekiras placed nearly all of the blame on Rockstar. Warren LeBlanc was the one who chose to get involved with a gang and drug dealers, and it was he who had killed Stefan in this robbery gone horribly, horribly wrong. Though I was unable to find a statement from Giselle, Stefan's father Patrick would give a statement regarding Warren's sentencing, saying, "I don't think any sentence would have been long enough for me." As for the game, Stefan's father seemed to view it differently than his mother did, with Patrick expressing that he believed the game is responsible for inspiring the method of murder. An exact quote reads, "It gave him an idea. It gave him some idea of how to go about what he did." And I'd have to agree with him there. Maybe not about this specific case, because it's possible video games played no role in it. However, in cases where they do, I believe they could act as inspiration, just as some well-known serial killers have acted as inspiration for other murderers. You can get ideas about anything from anywhere, but only a killer is going to get inspiration when it comes to killing. Now, I'd love to end things here on the best ending possible. The mother, at least, clearly moved on, and Stefan's murderer rotting away behind bars. But unfortunately, that's not the case anymore. In early 2020, Stefan's stepsister Jess would say that she felt she let him down, as their attempt at keeping LeBlanc behind bars had failed, and he was unfortunately released from prison. Warren LeBlanc savagely destroyed a young boy with a hammer and a knife, all over 75 pounds, to pay to his violent drug dealers. And a pathetic 16 years later, he's out, living his life. He'd only have been 33, 37 now. Still got a long life ahead of him. A long life which Stefan would never get to experience. All because Warren chose to brutally take it away from him at the very young age of 14. People can change, sure, but in a case like this, how can anyone grant someone like that freedom? Cases like this never make sense, and I hope for their sake, the people responsible for freeing him never meet anyone like him, because clearly they don't understand just how dangerous people like this are. I'll catch you next time.
Looking for more horror fun?
You're goddamn right.
Then check out the VHS comic book series, a parody of the horror genre that follows the lives of 3 teens as they fight to survive a horror movie, where every day is loaded with blood, boobs, and buds. The first 2 issues can be found in the description below.
I was obsessed with VHS.